I'm norM, and this is my wife, Lisa.
Hello.
A little over a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
I came across a post on Facebook about someone looking for a kidney. So I saw my wife later in the day, and I said, "Hey, did you see that post that I put out about the kidneys?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "Well," so I told her a little bit about it. It was very brief. It just said, "This is so and so, and they need a kidney," and it had a phone number. I said, "I was thinking about calling the number." And you
Okay.
said, yeah.
I mean, what's the harm? Call the number. So.
Yeah. Well, they actually started talking to me almost immediately about my health and my background a little bit, and was I in a position in my life that I'd be able to do something like this? Was I stable at work, and would I have the family support and those types of things? And I actually went to the facility. The one I was hooked up with is in Rochester, New York. And they had me there basically for 2 full days, and they tested like everything I could possibly be tested for. And the whole point of the test was to eliminate me as a candidate, to find something wrong with me,
Right.
why I couldn't give a kidney healthy. Yeah, I had to meet with psychiatrists.
Yeah, it was pretty involved.
She couldn't believe that I actually got past that part, but I did.
Still can't believe it.
But they had me running on a treadmill with
you
the
did
electrodes
the
all
stress
over me,
test
and heart scans, and they did something they put some nuclear stuff in me and tracked it through my kidneys, all kinds of crazy things.
Yeah, but I know he's in pretty good health, so I wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
When they called and said that they, that you were a good candidate for a kidney transplant.
Yeah, so that was kind of like my first major hurdle to get over. They actually called me and said, "Hey, you've been approved to do this." I said, "Okay, what's
Great.
next?"
Yeah.
They said, "Well, the next we have to find you
A match.
So they had me send more blood.
Right, but isn't that when they found out you weren't a match for the post that you saw, or was that after the blood?
Well, I think they took blood and they tried to match it up with the person that I had volunteered for. And I don't know the person. It's not like it's my cousin or something.
Yeah, so it was a long shot anyway.
But it turned out I was not a match for that person. But they had talked to me during the process when I was in Rochester that if you're not a match for the person that you signed up for, would you be interested in still donating your kidney for someone you would match up with, and that will get that person that you volunteered for a kidney.
Yeah.
And we talked about it.
So it moves that person up because that person recruited a candidate to donate, which is something I had never even considered. They're out there recruiting people into the donor program, and what a blessing it is that they get some sort of benefit from that recruitment. So not only is he a match for somebody else, but that moves that person up the line too. So
yeah, so
really
like
nice.
say you wanted to donate a kidney for your sister, but for whatever reason you didn't match up with your sister,
right?
You could still help your sister get a kidney by donating to someone else. And they said they would actually go to 5 different cities and do a 5-way match,
Right.
and everybody gets their surgery the same
there's
day.
a lot of logistics involved in this that I had never considered.
And they were amazing. Every step of the way, people were thanking me, and they were saying, "Hey, why are you doing this?" And then
I think you get that. We've gotten a lot of that, why are you doing this? Because we don't know the person. There's not a lot of people always want some benefit. If they're going to do something good, they want something in return for that. And so a lot of people don't understand when it's placed on your heart to do something. And when something's placed on your heart, you don't, and I've had things placed on my heart as well, that no one else can hear those things. God talked to him directly and got him involved in this, and who am I to say, deny that?
Yeah, you did tell me that.
Yeah, and it's difficult, because you want to protect what's yours, and but I also don't want to deny something that God has whispered in His ear either.
So when people were asking, they were trying to figure out why you were interested in doing this kind of thing. I come from a very large family.
You do.
I grew up in Kenmore, New York. I have 11 brothers and sisters, and I actually have a half-brother and sister as well, so there's 14 of us.
There's a lot.
And we're all very close.
There's a lot.
And my oldest brother extended his life by getting a double lung transplant. It wasn't from a living donor, obviously, it was lungs. But
so we learned a lot about the program.
Yeah.
From that experience, what goes into being a donor. Obviously, in his case, it was someone had to pass in order for him to receive that gift of those extra years. But in norm's case, it's what a blessing it is to be able to give that gift without that loss.
Because my entire family was grateful to that person and their family.
We still are. Even though he's since passed, I'm still so thankful. As a family, we were able to have some extra time. As a donor, I mean, I think that's always in the back of your head too, is that maybe someone else can get some extra time. And I know you say that's not the catalyst that propelled you to do this, but I can't imagine that it's not related to it. Knowing that gift.
I'm sure it's related.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's so many different emotions kind of surrounding this. I mean, you talk to your family about it. I had to tell my mom and Lisa's parents and talk to all my siblings about it, and we got different reactions. Some of them were like, "Well, why are you doing that?"
Yeah.
And other ones were like, "Oh my God, that's so amazing."
Yeah.
All right. So originally, the person that posted on Facebook wasn't even the person that needed the kidney. It was just a random person that had shared her post. So the person that needed the kidney, I don't know her.
No.
I don't know where she lives or any of those types of things. It just had a first name and the phone number.
Yeah.
But that's the number that I called, so that's who I told them I saw the post for. So that's who I was volunteering for.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are saying, "Hey, do you get to meet them? Do you get to say, hey, I'm giving you a kidney."
I'm your donor.
But that's entirely up to both parties. And since she's not actually getting my kidney, and someone else is going to, and it turns out I believe mine's going to go somewhere in Pennsylvania, and I'm here in Buffalo.
Right. So there's a lot of logistics. So he wasn't a match for that person on Facebook, but because she had recruited norM to give a kidney, her status moved up in the registry because she brought a donor into the system that has agreed to donate. So once he was matched with someone else, she moved up as well. So there's like this, we call it the Great Kidney Swap next week, where there's 4 people involved, 2 donors and 2 recipients. The girl from the original post is getting her kidney
the
exact same day here at ECMC.
No,
right.
she's going to be in the same hospital as me.
Right. So she's out at Strong as well.
I won't see her. She won't see me.
Right. And so unless everybody signs a waiver that that everybody's in agreement to share information. So he could sign all he wants and say, yeah, share my information. But if the recipient or the other team, they don't want that information shared, privacy is pretty locked down. Like, they've been really great about that. So just to speak on that for a second, when we were there earlier in the week, going through everything, they reminded him that he can back out of this. Like, he can be on the table prior to anesthetic and say, I've changed my mind. This is no longer what I wish to do. And the recipient will never know why. Like, they'll just say that something happened with the kidney, the surgery's off today. And his name's never brought up or shared, or the reasons why, and there would be no repercussions for that. There's been no medical costs either, which is actually really nice. So people should probably know that everything that we've gone through so far has been totally covered, right through. They even gave him protein shakes for next week to build up some of his amino acids and protein prior to the surgery. So they've even provided that. All of his testing, everything has been covered. He'll need some time off work.
Yeah, so speaking of that, I'm actually a week out. This is 7 days away.
We're about 7 days away.
We're a little nervous, but
a little.
I did volunteer to them that I would be happy to meet whoever got my kidney, or even the person that I donated for. I'd love to. But if that doesn't work out, I'm fine with that too.
Right.
So if anybody out there is ever considering something like this, I mean, obviously I'm donating a kidney, but they're looking for donations of like plasma, and you can donate blood or bone marrow.
They're breaking ground even as we speak. They were talking to us. They're getting ready to do partial liver transplants, which have never been done before because you only get one liver, right? so they're talking about doing these partial liver transplants now from living patients. But
the technology is amazing.
It really is.
They really look out for the donors.
Mm-hmm.
If you're ever considering doing it,
by that.
there's pretty much probably in most major cities there's going to be at least one facility that does donations of some sort.
Right.
Reach out.
Yeah, it's usually your major hospital. So for here in Buffalo, it's our Erie County Medical Center, ECMC. In Rochester, where he'll go, is Strong Memorial. But every major city will have a hospital that does donations, or at least maintain the registry for people.
I
So
can
if
tell
you're
you
in a
that the
smaller
surgeons
town,
and the
still
donor
look at it.
advocates and the counselors, they're amazing. They're looking out for you as a donor.
Yeah.
Give a call and ask about it. And it might not be something you can even do at this time, but it might be something you can do down in the future.
Right.
I mean, financially, we're in a position where we could do it. I could take a
Right.
little time off from
We're
work,
blessed.
and hopefully somebody's going to get something out of this. We're going to
Right.
get something out of it, because we're going to feel great about doing it, but somebody else is going to get something else out of it.
I'm still terrified.
I know.
Okay. As long as that's clear.